I'm Marcus Blake from from the studio at That Nerd Show, and we are doing virtual interviews from the Naples Film Festival. And I am speaking with Ondi Timoner. And am I pronouncing?
Can we do it again? Yeah. It's Ondi Timoner.
Ondi Timoner. I apologize for that. But anyway, we're going to be talking about your film, Coming Clean, and diving right into it. And at the end of this interview, we're actually going to ask you a very nerdy question. We're going to test your inner nerd. So before we get to that, let's dive into your film. I want to first say this was one of my favorite documentaries that I've watched over the last few days. Very powerful and very interesting. How did you come to doing a documentary on this subject about addiction?
I was approached by the Parker Foundation, and in my career, I have mostly followed what I like to call impossible visionaries. They're people that kind of take on the impossible and they act impossibly along the way. And so because they usually have a vision or a challenge that other people can't understand at the time, but they have to have the fortitude to do that. And so whether it was Anton Newcomb and Dig, or Josh Harris and We Live in Public, or even Bjorn Lundberg and Cool It, or Russell Brand, it's always people who are just kind of fighting a system that is somehow exploitative. And in this case, it's a number of impossible visionaries in this film. It's really a film about people who are facing an impossible crisis, an epidemic that has taken more American lives than the Vietnam War. And in this year will, because overdose deaths are up so massively, will probably take over 100,000 lives. And it's a very, very difficult disease to recover from. But I felt like there was nothing about it in the media or in any documentary that gave solutions and showed people actually recovering in a way that imparted hope. And I felt like that was really needed. And so when I was approached about it, I usually don't take on a social issue film, but I thought this really fits. I mean, these are people that are taking on an impossible disease, whether it's personal, people like Destiny Garcia or Admiral Winnefeld, who loses a son and comes out with, instead, he was second in command in the military and comes back with Safe Project and is out there saving lives and turning something so tragic into something so great. Or Destiny, who's been sober for 3 years, or Mike Moore, who's an incredible prosecutor who's taken on, and just this week, Purdue, pled guilty to criminal charges and has to pay a massive settlement, most of which they're not going to be able to pay. So it was like there was nothing like it, and I felt like there needed to be something out there.
Oh, absolutely. One of the most fascinating things about this documentary is talking about the fact that when we're dealing with a pandemic, everybody, it's like time stands still. What do we do? How do we fight it? Whether it's mismanaged by government or not. An opiate crisis where people are overdosing, nobody seems to care except those that are having to deal with it personally. And government doesn't rise to that challenge. That's scary in its own right, to think about how they don't care about those kind of lives, and that there should be more done about that. Mike, I was curious about, like you said, you don't take on this is a social project that you took on. You don't normally do it. The couple in the film that were running for Congress, how did that come about? Was it just something you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the whole thing, I should say, and I think my last answer may have been a little bit misleading in this way. Don't misunderstand. There was no template for this. There was no map. There was no script. Documentaries, and part of why I love making docs, and I've made both kinds. But I love a doc because oftentimes we have no idea where we're going to go. We just have a goal in mind, and the goal here was, let's put some solutions out there. Let's put some hope out there. Let's find a way out of this thing together. And what we ended up finding was that the opposite of addiction really is connection. And so then I thought, if I could find relationships within that, and it kind of naturally happened, where the first treatment center we went into, I met Destiny. Destiny had been on the streets. She had been arrested as part of a massive drug sweep called Operation Rio Grande. And in that sweep, they used therapeutic justice, a model that more states and counties should take on, where instead of arresting everybody and throwing them in jail to be out again in a few days and back on the streets, they offered them drug treatment.
Right.
So they could do and so Destiny took that option, and she was the first to graduate from drug court, which got the attention of Mayor McAdams, who at that point was responsible for Operation Rio Grande, along with Sim Gill, the DA. And so he met Destiny and ended up hiring Destiny as more of a let's walk the walk type of thing. And so Destiny started working at the mayor's office. So when I met Destiny at the treatment center, that led to Mayor McAdams. Mayor McAdams then ran for Congress and won in a very, very tight race. And so that was one of the narrative threads we follow in the film. And, their friendship continues. And they're, he just, I forget the word. What's the word when you not administer, but, well, he's not a minister, but he just officiated her son's wedding, during COVID. So her influence on him has influenced him to fight for mental health parity and to take on issues that you wouldn't expect from a congressman from a Republican state, even though he is a Democrat. So, but, Brittany Pedersen, I heard about. My mom actually was reading the LA Times, and there was an article about Brittany and her mother, who had overdosed 20 times over 30 years since she was a child. She was a state representative in Colorado at the time. And I thought, well, that's an interesting parallel, So I went to Colorado, and then it became kind of like, wow, this can be a film about. Let me turn Do Not Disturb on. Sorry about this. Zoom, we live on it. We love it
Nowadays. Yeah.
I think I did 7 months of Zoom before I learned the Do Not Disturb button, but it's on now. But yeah, no, I mean, it became really about policy leaders that are impacted personally by this epidemic, and then the solutions that they come up with. So it was a kind of hopefully a one-stop shopping, like a Food Inc. for addiction.
Well, something we were talking about before this interview is the last Democratic governor here in Texas, which was 25 years ago, Ann Richards. She was the first to actually have therapeutic programs for drug
I remember
convictions.
her somehow. I don't know how old I am, but I remember that name, Ann Richards.
Yeah, and drug convictions went down dramatically. People that were repeat offenders. And of course, the next time a Republican gets elected, we don't need that anymore. We want them to be in jail. And it never solves anything.
Oh, wait, are you saying, Wait, are you saying that it's 25 years since you guys have had a Democrat?
99, George W. Bush, when he ran for governor, defeated her. So it's been that long since there's been a Democratic governor in Texas.
That's a long time.
Yes, it is.
But you guys just ran to the polls, right? You guys have already everybody's mailing.
There's a lot of, early voting has been crazy in this state. I thought it was also.
It'll turn around? Is the governor up for election?
2 years.
He's not up? He's not up?
In 2 years, he will be.
Because he's messed this thing up something.
Yeah. One of the more fascinating things too is you talk about the second in command of the Joint Chiefs, whose son died from an overdose. I thought that was a little bit ironic, him talking about this when, the VA is a big proponent of just throwing opiates to soldiers and giving them lots of pills, and that's what you need to do to fix your problems after you're coming back from war. So that was very powerful. What is the biggest statement that you're trying to make with this film?
There's a few in there, but basically the money whatever money, I think what Mike Moore says about the settlement and how we handle the money, it's there's solutions in this film that should be paid attention to. They're arrived at in an emotional, character-driven way, but there's actual solutions. We should all have naloxone for free. It should be something that we carry to prevent, every teenager should have it,
Right.
If you've seen Admiral Winnefeld in any of our Q&As, and we'll have 2 today, actually, we're doing I don't know if this is live right now, but we're doing Milwaukee Centerpiece today and Closing Night of Bend today, and Admiral Winnefeld's participating. You know, he has really a lot of work going on with naloxone. It's getting the company, working to get the company to actually like start.
Before we wrap this up, which we've got one, we just want to ask a very nerdy question that we like to ask all of our filmmakers. If you could have a superpower or weapon of choice from the nerd universe to fight the forces of evil, what would you personally choose?
Ooh.
I know this will be like the toughest question you get because you got to really think about. There's so many great.
Well, I mean, the superhero that I always feel like I relate to, and that I feel like I already have it, but if I could really have it on a physical level, is Elastigirl.
Nice.
Yeah, just like that ability to just be like, I got it. Like that, you know?
That would be a great thing to have as a director.
Especially in documentary.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much for the interview. It was a great documentary, very powerful message. Look forward to seeing what happens with it, and I hope that more and more people see it. So you did a great job with it.
Thank you, Mark.
Hello there, fellow nerds. I'm Marcus Blake, the editor and producer of That Nerd Show, and we need your help. That's right, we need your support. Like any news outlet, we rely on advertising and donations to keep the lights on. To be the greatest show in this universe, we need funding, and that's where you come in. Like most artists out there, we actually have a Patreon account, and we're asking for donations. But we're not just asking for you to give us money. We actually have stuff that we're going to be giving away if you donate. So we'll be uploading more and more videos to our Patreon account from YouTube, from our daily news to interviews with celebrities to gaming videos and all of our other individual shows that we are doing here in 2020. But to keep us going, we need a little bit of funding. And again, that's where you come in. So it can be as little as $1. $1 makes all the difference in the world. And you can do anywhere from $1 to $3 to $5, all the way up to $500. And we're going to be giving stuff away for your donations. So you can get some Nerd Power wristbands or any other wristbands from our series of wristbands that we're creating for nerds. You can get cool retro gaming t-shirts from our Nerd Swag shop if you make a donation of $20 or more. You can even get advertising on our website or within our videos if you make a purchase or donate $50 or more dollars. We have different tiers, like most artists. Want that new video game that's coming out this year? You want to be playing the same video game we are as we're reviewing it? Hey, you can do that with a $100 donation. Are you looking to get a new console before the year is out? Hey, $500 and you can get an Xbox One, a PlayStation 4, or even a Nintendo Switch. It just takes a little bit to help us. As little as $1 per video that we do. And we're going to have a variety of videos that you can help support. So if you like our content, if you like everything that we do as nerds, from honest conversations about pop culture to great celebrity interviews to wacky and fun gaming videos, then help support us on our Patreon account. You can check us out at patreon.com/thatnerdshow. You can check us out at patreon.com/that. Take 3. Go to patreon.com/thatnerdshow and make your donation today. Even if it's just $1, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you and stay nerdy.